all that we've said, and we can feel you right there with us. This is our message to you today. You have done enough sorting through the contrast to keep yourselves busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes. It's time for you to begin to claim what you've put into your vortex. And you don't do that by thinking it all over again. You do it by allowing the vibration of your being to raise to the level of what's in your vortex. This is a sales job for sitting for 15 minutes and listening to the meditation or engaging in some meditation where you manage to detract yourself or deactivate the thoughts that are holding you out of a vibrational alignment with what's in your vortex. We started today by talking about the construction process of the life that you want. We're going to start here for a moment by talking about the deconstruction of the patterns of thought that are preventing you from the life that you want. We want you to feel that the deconstruction of unwanted and the construction of what are wanted is one and the same process. Because in the absence of attention to unwanted, your vibration will naturally raise. And in the raising of your vibration, you naturally become a vibrational match to what's already in your vortex. So now, our work here is done because we have accomplished precisely what we wanted to accomplish. We've brought you to the point where almost 100% of you are on your knees begging us by saying, Abraham, just break it down and make it simple, will you? There's just too much to think about. What do I have to do to be happy? What do I have to do to be prosperous? What do I have to do to get the person in my life that I'm looking for? What do I have to do? And we say to you, you've already done most of it. Because you've done the sifting, you've done the sorting, you've done the observing, you've done the know what you don't want, you've done the know what you do want. You have constructed a vortex that has the power that creates worlds spinning with it. All you've got to do is find your way to the vicinity, to the proximity, to the interior. You've just got to get into the vortex. That's all you've got to do. And here's what we want you to hear above all other things that you've ever heard from us or any other. The way to get into the vortex is to raise your vibration. And the way to raise your vibration is to deconstruct the thought that is keeping you from the raised vibration. You've heard us say, if you've been listening to us for a while, when you stop doing that thing you're doing that's keeping you from it, then you'll just do it. So consider this. What if you were to find some relatively hard to find recording where you could just plug it in to your earphones and it would encourage you to listen to the rhythm of some sort of oddly constructed music for the purpose of simply syncing your breathing to that rhythm. That's it. And the words in the background would be telling you, there's nothing for you to learn here, and there's nothing for you to do here, and there's nothing for you to remember here. Simply listen and breathe and enjoy. So the purpose of this meditation is precisely what we are just talking about here. It is a process, not the only process. It is a process whereby if you will focus with the intent of syncing your breath to the music, that effort in and of itself will be enough to occupy your thoughts long enough that it will cause a deactivation of the concern you have with your employer today, or with your upset with your daughter or your mother. By focusing upon something, there must be a deactivation of other things. So as you begin to focus on breathing, as you begin to focus upon your here and now, as you claim, as you carve out of your busy day, as you drag yourself out of Jerry and Esther's room that is full of everything that they've gathered for decades, if you drag yourself out of there just for a moment and listen to this music, it is our promise to you that a raising of your vibration will occur. In simple words, these are the words we would like you to leave here remembering. Your vortex will train your vibration. Your vortex will tune you. Now, hear the difference between what we were talking about in the beginning with everything that you could possibly think about, all the different subjects, all the different vantage points from all the different subjects. When you think about all the possible things that you could think about, and you have the assignment of sorting that out, or you think about the squeaking cart in the room behind us. Well, you were. The squeaking cart in the room behind us distracted you from your bankruptcy. It did. In other words, you are easily distracted, friends. Why not deliberately distract yourself with something that will tune your vibrational frequency into sync with everything that you've put into your vortex before you were born and ever since? In other words, we're really on to something here, because you cannot sort that closet out. You can't do it. Nail it shut. You cannot figure out all of the reasons that all of the people are doing all of the things that they are doing. You can't even get together in some sort of consensus about what the right way of life really is. And you know why you can't do that? Because that was never your intention to begin with, any more than it was your intention to come forth as a people on this planet and decide what one food ingredient you would all agree would be the only thing you would ever eat. You come as diverse intenders, with diverse intentions and beliefs and ingredients and components. And you have, even though most of you don't realize it, you have created the most magnificent vibrational version of a life experience in your vortex that could ever be imagined even by the greatest imaginers of all. In other words, what's in your vortex is supreme. It is beautiful. And it will delight you with every little piece of it that you allow yourself to participate in. We're just saying, these are Esther's new words to Jerry. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. He laughs every time she says it, and he says, I know you're saying. I know you're saying it. I hear you saying it. We're just saying that it's in your vortex and that you have easier access to it than you know. And that if you will, set aside 30 at the most, 15 minutes a day, where you actually sit with the intent of breathing for the enjoyment of breathing, that you will allow your vortex to train your vibration upward in the vicinity of the fullness of what is there. And what you will begin to discover is an uneasy edge disappears from your life experience. What you'll really begin to notice is that things that don't feel all that significant to you will begin lining up for you all the time. In other words, those things that you're not consistently beating the drum of begin to clean up even on the first day. You begin to have better timing. Parking places open up for you. Your timing is right. Esther is marveling at how she can come back from a long trip with bags and bags and bags of things that they've gathered up along the way from other people and from shops and so forth. And with all of this stuff that's been packed and repacked, first it was packed to get onto the cruise ship, and then it was repacked to get off of the cruise ship, and then it was packed especially for the lighter carry-on bags, and then it was packed. In other words, it had been packed and repacked. Everything had been moved around for different weights and balances. And when they got back, Jerry said, do you know where such and such is? And Esther said, I'll get it. And she went to a bag and came out with it. Jerry said, how did you do that? Esther said, I have no idea. Again and again and again. In other words, your broader mind, what's in your vortex, who you really are, knows everything you are and everything you want and where everything is in proximity to everything you want, and knows the very most direct, efficient, and fun route to lead you to it. In other words, that information is available to you. You have no idea of what's going on your behalf until you begin to access it by allowing your natural patterns of vibration to raise, and by allowing the vortex to show you its ability to surprise and delight and please and satisfy and fulfill you on every single subject that you have considered, no matter how long or how short, no matter how major or minor, since the day that you stepped foot into this physical body and before. Good sales job, don't you think? We're eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you, but you already have discovered the theme of this gathering. The theme of this gathering is to deconstruct any vibrational ties to any thoughts that are leading you into the construction of something that you do not want. We are not going to be, not for a moment, encouragers of continuing the construction of unwanted things. It just doesn't make any sense. Why would you build a great big ugly building filled with all kinds of things that aren't relevant to your experience, only to then take a bulldozer in and knock it down later in order to clear the space in order to create what you are wanting? You don't have to do that. In other words, you can start right now in the deliberate constructing of what you are wanting. And that really is our message. We have enjoyed this interaction more than words can convey. This has been a delicious unfolding, and one of our favorites ever, in that there has been so much obvious manifestation on the heels of vibrational work of different people who have been in the audience. Haven't you enjoyed that? And don't you love knowing that manifestation is so close on the heels that you could call it instant manifestation? And don't you want to begin observing the manifestations, wanted and unwanted, as you reflect back the vibrational stance that you had going? Don't you think that this understanding is going to put you in the driver's seat of everything that's going to be coming to you from now on? And aren't you eager to offer a vibration, a thought deliberately, and then watch the manifestation that follows? Aren't you eager to let the universe show you how you're doing? And aren't you willing to embrace it, whether it's wanted or unwanted, as you then explore the details of how it felt while you were generating the vibration of it, and how it felt as the manifestation came to show you what you'd generated? Don't you love knowing that you get to create how you feel, because you get to create the thoughts you think, and that the manifestation will then reflect it back to you in real time? Don't you love knowing? Haven't you sometimes thought that what manifestations are down the road relationships, or down the road businesses, or down the road success, or down the road empires, or down the road improved bodily conditions? In other words, I want to lose 40 pounds. Well, hopefully that's going to be down the road. Because if you lose it today, it's going to hurt. So, don't you love knowing that so many of these manifestations seem like these big pinnacle points, and that what manifestation also means is the conversation that I'm going to have when I leave this room. It also means the way people are going to treat me in traffic. It also means what I'm rendezvousing with from my memory. It also means the timing I'm going to have when the phone rings, whether the person that I'm picking up the phone and meeting with is the person that I really want to talk to. In other words, matching vibration, manifesting evidence of what I'm doing vibrationally. It is so delicious to interact with deliberate creation. And it is so delicious to interact on a leading edge discussion with those who have decided to be deliberate creators. It is our pleasure to play with you. And it is our absolute promise to you that what's waiting for you in your vortex is so close to be manifested that it's as soon as today that you will see the evidence of the work that you've done here. Lots of evidence. In other words, watch for it and note it. If we were standing in your physical shoes, the words that we would say several times as you're wrapping up this day: I am the creator of my own reality. I am the conjurer of my own mood. I am the keeper of my own attitude. I am the releaser of my own vibrational butterflies. And law of attraction is the master facilitator to match up those frequencies and to deliver to me manifestational evidence for one purpose and one purpose only: to help me in the deliberateness of my creative endeavor.